Morning. I wanted to take a couple moments today, not just 2 or 3 minutes, and talk a little bit about a term that can be very helpful, very powerful, and it's also, I think, very much misunderstood, and that is acceptance. So, acceptance is essentially taking life on life's terms. It does not mean that we're resigned uh, to just go with the flow, or that just things are stuck being where they are. In fact, acceptance can help break us free if we're feeling stuck or that we just keep getting swept away. A lot of times, acceptance can actually be very helpful in shifting that. So, what is acceptance? It's, like I said, it's taking life on life's terms. It's recognizing the situation for what it is, not what we think it is, not what we hope it is, but just what is actually the situation in front of me. An illustration I like to use is going to the doctor. If someone went to the doctor and found out they had cancer, if they accept that diagnosis, they can then look for different options to maybe treat that cancer. If they don't accept that diagnosis, then they're not going to get help. And it's that exact way that I view acceptance. It's not just saying, "Oh, I have cancer, that's that." It, it's saying, "Okay, this is the reality of where I'm at right now. What are the options that I have?" And then being able to make a well informed choice from there. And this can apply in very much day to day things as well. A lot of people are going back to school right now, so I'll use one of those examples. If there was a breakdown in communication and very much needed things for school wasn't conveyed home to the parents for whatever reason, one option is to get really upset, really frustrated, to maybe look for who should we blame, but that isn't going to get the materials that are needed for that student. Instead, acceptance is looking at, well, we don't have what we needed on day one. How can we get what we need for day two? So on and so forth. And part of that process certainly can be looking at, how did this breakdown happen? Um, Maybe the parents did get the paperwork, they just forgot about it, or maybe there was a problem with email or it went to spam, and how can that be corrected? So it's not simply looking at we're stuck without what we need, but looking at what's a process that got us here, and what changes can I make with that process? What do we need to do to get back on track? But none of that can happen without acceptance. Same thing can happen in terms of work. If a project doesn't go how you're expecting it to, or a boss doesn't respond how you want, accepting that reality can be very helpful in planning a response and how to get things back on track. So acceptance is not just being stuck with how things are, but it's recognizing life for what it is and accepting life. It's taking life on life's terms so that we can then choose what we do with that. And I will be back next week to talk about, in a little more detail, some ways that this can play out practically in terms of relationships, work, school, even things like dealing with anxiety or depression, how having that level of acceptance can be very helpful as a very necessary first step to making change.